If you knew what I'm about to share, they wouldn't make money. So, you have questions about how to do keto. Big questions like, is it 20 grams of carbs a day or 5% of my total calories from carbohydrates? What if I don't like bacon or cheese? Can I do keto? And perhaps the biggest question of all is keto safe, like truly safe, to do long term? You're searching for answers, but your doctor, unfortunately, they are telling you that keto is too restrictive and they're dismissive of the idea because it's just too difficult for anybody to even consider, which is probably why you ended up here watching this video. Now, YouTube is incredible for learning. Some of the world's leading experts are sharing their knowledge for free. But something shifted back in 2019. Remember when the world kind of fell upside down and turned all over? Doctors were actually sharing information that challenged what big pharma and conventional medicine wanted us to do. And that is when YouTube introduced trusted sources. It was supposed to combat misinformation. But what if these trusted sources are actually the reason that, well, basically that you're still stuck and sabotaging your keto weight loss? I want to look at how those trusted sources are causing that to happen. Please subscribe. There are 3 types of trusted sources on YouTube that I want to call out. First of all, especially in this health world that we're talking about, that's where I'm focusing. Doctors, professional health focused channels, then they might have associated websites, and news channels. All of these sources look at keto as a temporary diet. And I'm going to start with a good example, which was a video that I watched near the beginning of my keto journey about how to do keto, what keto was, from Dr. Mike. He actually had 2 videos. He had what keto was, and then he had a how to do keto. He presented as if keto was difficult, unsustainable, basically a short-term diet quick fix. And I'll just give you a quick quote. One of the things he said was, I think it's better for short-term weight loss than long-term weight loss. And another thing he said was, the ketogenic diet is not super sustainable. Well, I need us to understand that hearing a doctor say things like that keeps us trapped on the diet treadmill, because his statement basically implies that use it to lose the weight, but then you have to stop doing it. That unfortunately opens the door to what we've all lived, this yo-yo dieting problem, where as soon as we stop doing the thing that helped us lose weight and we go back to eating the standard American, Canadian, or whatever country you happen to live in diet, the weight comes back. What I want to point out, though, in the 2 videos that I watched from Dr. Mike, the one about what keto is and then the one where he tried it, what difficulties get brought up? And if you do a quick internet search, you'll find these same difficulties. The first one is that you can't eat junk food or drink alcohol, which puts you in the position where you think you're not going to enjoy your life. You're not going to get to have fun because we can't do these things. We also get put in the position where we think people are going to just think we're weird. Why doesn't this person drink? How many times have you been at a party and someone says they're not drinking and your first thought is, oh, they must have a problem with alcohol? We don't just think that maybe they don't feel like drinking. And we have the same question marks come over us when someone doesn't want to have a piece of cake. Ooh, are they dieting? First of all, I don't understand why that's a bad thing if I don't want to harm my body with junk food or if I might be on a diet. But second of all, it clearly makes us, the person asking the question, uncomfortable that this person can't eat junk food or can't drink because that question came to us in the first place. Unfortunately, that reinforces my idea that I'm going to look like a weirdo. That means that I might stop socializing as much as I normally would, maybe only go out to socialize when I'm having my cheat days or whatever. and I'm not enjoying myself as fully as I might be enjoying myself at parties and holidays because I feel like everyone's staring at me. This way of thinking about food makes it, well, basically, it causes it to take so much mental energy to even do the diet. But that reinforces their claims that it's just so hard to stick to. I want to point out that these are the first things that come up. It's sometimes, although Dr. Mike does bring this up, but often you don't even hear the potential nutritional deficiencies argument that will come to the story. I've been in front of my doctor and the nutritional deficiencies wasn't not sustainable long term was what was said to me. You can't keep that up. Not a conversation about health issues. So wellness warriors, the way I want you to think about this is like you get a car and you have the manufacturer's instructions, and part of the instructions tells you that you're supposed to fill your car with regular unleaded gasoline. And so you follow those instructions to a T. A year later, when you go for your checkup, your engine has a few troubles. The mechanic fixes it, no problem. It's a few $100. And what you start to notice is increasingly every year, every time you go back for your regular checkups and change your tires if you live in Canada and all the things, there's always this extra charge because your engine has trouble. And eventually, 4 or 5 years later, you've got to change the car. Maybe it lasts you 7 years. You buy another car, but this time when you're in front of the salesperson leans into you and says, "Hey, I got a little tip for you. Put premium gas in your car," right? You buy this car and you put premium gas, even though the manufacturer says regular, you are going to have this car for so long, minimal problems. Okay. You like the car, so you buy it. And you put the premium gas in because a little extra at the pump doesn't compare to what you were paying in maintenance on the other car. And when you go to your first maintenance, they check your car and say, "Yep, everything's A-okay." And you say to them, "Wow, it was true. I've been putting premium in my car and the car's doing amazing." And they look at you and go, "No, no, no. Oh my gosh, don't do that." The mechanic is all of a sudden changing their tune. If you put premium in this car, you're going to ruin it. You need to put regular. This car is meant for regular. And now you're a little bit conflicted. So you leave there and you talk to some family and friends and maybe even the gas station attendant. Because, I mean, they see people come through with cars like, what did the other people do? And everybody's saying, "Are you crazy? Why would you listen to a stupid salesperson? They're probably just trying to make the car," right? Why would you? No, you put regular gas in it. What do you do, Wellness Warrior? What do you do? Because your experience right now is showing you, my car had not even one problem. If you push forward next year, when he asks you, "Well, so did you switch your car?" And you say no, but your car doesn't have any problems, what do you do? Because he's going to give you the same spiel. "You're setting yourself up for problems, ma'am or sir." That is the story that we all find ourselves in. Car companies make more money off of the repeat business of fixing our cars than they made off of selling us the car in the first place. And that's the same way that companies only make money off you eating cookies if you actually eat cookies. That means that you need to either fail at your diet or see it as a temporary fix to your never-ending struggle with weight gain for the company to actually make the money off of your repeat business of buying cookies and ice creams and chips and all the other foolishness that we eat. Now that you know why they push the idea that keto is a temporary fix, let's look at how they've tricked us into using the wrong fuel in the first place. So this brings us to those health channels and those videos that look at the research and bring us all this information to help us understand what's the healthiest thing to do. And these are the channels that you're going to be suggested as trusted sources to understand the keto diet. The ketogenic diet will only help you to lose weight if you remain in a calorie deficit. Even if you're in ketosis, if your calorie intake is really high, then you won't lose weight. While you get to eat all those high-fat foods, you're probably eating fewer calories than you were before you started keto. The basic idea being when we eat these healthy keto foods, we're so satiated by the fat we've eaten, we just eat less food. So this is actually perpetuating the eat less, move more myth, making you feel like a failure when you're hungry, right? Like you shouldn't be hungry. And is it reality that if I do a keto diet, I'm not going to ever be hungry? No. Is it a reality that if I do a keto diet, that I absolutely need to be working out like a maniac to lose weight? But this is what's being proposed. It's so pervasive of a lie that Dr. Mike even fell for it. He's a well meaning doctor, and he found himself caught in the same trap of eat less, move more that we all find ourselves caught in. Dr. Mike made a video just 5 months ago where he's talking about the fact that he had lost a bunch of weight, like 40, 50 pounds, and openly admitted that he regained the weight. And when he was discussing the weight loss and how he did that through boxing and burning 3,000 calories while only consuming 2,500 calories, which completely links it back to this idea, eat less, move more, calories in, calories out. That's how people lose weight. Even though, in fact, he's now regained the weight. He's not putting it together that if it was just this simple math calculation, he would have been able to keep it going. And when he talks about the fact that he's resumed trying to improve his health, again, he talks about decreasing his saturated fat. It's a common piece of mythology from this eat less, move more world, the lies that they tell us about weight loss that keeps us trapped in doing the things that are counter to what our body actually wants. Dr. Mike clearly is not focusing on the hormonal causes of weight gain. He understands health and yet is not looking at all the research and data that we actually have about the fact that when we eat high carbohydrate diets, our body increases insulin and stores almost everything away that we've been eating as fat, including the healthy protein and fat that it wanted. It is absolutely difficult to be the only one not having fun. And Dr. Mike is an example of this, where even doing what he was doing that apparently caused him to lose the weight, he didn't maintain that either, the thing that he thought was healthy. This model of getting us to overeat for fun, to see garbage as food and ignore that our body needs animal fat and animal protein, thrives on you believing that you can eat garbage and then burn it off by exercising. Our body does not have any understanding of calories, wellness warrior. So if you believe that you can keep eating junk food and then blame your body for not cooperating, you will keep eating junk food and blame your body. But what if I told you that on top of the fact that companies lie to you about the gas, so let's go back to that analogy, they also loaded up your GPS on your car with a corrupted map that was going to force your car to drive a little extra. And whenever you had to map a distance to a trip, right? And that extra little bit of drive, whether it's a kilometer here or 30 kilometers there, whatever, is going to add some wear and tear on your vehicle. And then, wellness warrior, you would have to change that car that little bit extra fast than before. I need us to understand that their behavior isn't just about causing weight gain. The lies that these trusted sources are telling us about the keto diet, about what really causes us to gain weight, actually stops us from healing our bodies. These companies want us trying to get to a healthy place, like maybe optimal health oasis, but they have us driving to chronic disease city. And we keep ending up there because we're following the faulty map in the car that we have to drive around and around looking for optimal health oasis. So we don't make it there. So we keep stopping for gas, right? That regular gas is ruining our engine. It's such a setup, wellness warrior. And how do they reach the most of us they possibly can? Well, this is where the third trusted source comes in, which is the news outlets. News outlets for years have been making reports based on a very flawed logic that keto is actively dangerous and causes inflammation. So, the diet that is anti inflammatory, the news outlets say causes inflammation. So, I'm going to give you this example from this news story that said the keto diet may worsen osteoarthritis. And it also said it might be inducing inflammation. This actively scares you away from the path of true healing. It is stopping us from critically looking at the keto diet and making our own decision about whether or not this diet could help us. And the only people that would actually benefit from me not knowing that the keto diet is anti-inflammatory for the majority of people who do it is the medical and pharmaceutical industries. They're the ones that will profit when we remain sick and reliant on their treatments. Do you want to keep giving them money because you don't know how to actually heal your body? I know that I don't want to. And as a matter of fact, I'm extremely happy that I didn't. Wellness Warrior, the reason that I make videos at all is because 7.5 years ago, I was 80 pounds overweight, believing that that excess weight was causing my hip to fail. I thought that I was carrying around so much extra weight that my body just couldn't bear me, right? It couldn't keep me upright. And weight loss wasn't happening. And I was afraid because I knew that there was a possible surgery in my future. And I was devastated. Now, I tried keto, not because I thought it was going to help me lose weight. I tried keto because everything I read about it said that it had the ability to stop my inflammation problem. And what was explained to me was that by removing the excess amount of carbohydrates in my diet, my insulin levels, instead of being high all the time, my cortisol levels, instead of being high all the time, that these two hormones would regulate, which means get back to their normal level of whatever they were supposed to be, and my body would no longer be inflamed. A happy side effect of that, Wellness Warrior, because that did happen. And after going to my doctor and being prescribed some medication and being told I need to wait it out until my hip was in the position, that's code for hurting me enough to get hip surgery. So that means my hip would actually have to fall apart. I started this diet, and within 3 months, after a year plus of suffering, 3 months after starting this keto diet, inflammation in my hip was gone. And I was walking normally again. And as a matter of fact, I was doing better than walking normally. I was back to doing my activities. That same summer, I started April. And by July, we were back to doing all of our activities, including climbing. The keto diet works by allowing your hormones to regulate themselves, not anything to do with cutting calories. That is unrelated. The reason the nutritional deficiencies aren't a focus of most of the people that talk about it is because they can't necessarily tell you to avoid keto because of nutritional deficiency, because there's not any piece of evidence that actually proves that doing a keto diet leads to nutritional deficiencies. First of all, because you haven't actually removed any food group. People who do a keto diet still eat carbohydrates. But second of all, even people who transition to a carnivore diet like I did do not live any nutritional deficiencies because we can get all the micronutrients that we need from meat, fish, poultry, and eggs because each meat, fish, poultry story has a different nutrient profile, and because eggs actually have everything you need to create an animal and therefore is a complete food. Keto is a powerful anti-inflammatory and healing diet. It is not harmful, but you're not being told that because they can't have you understanding that you could heal your body with food, because if they understood that, just like me, you wouldn't be taking the medication because I didn't take it, and you would be waiting for the surgery. Surgery is expensive, Wellness Warrior. It pays them a lot of money. And especially in the US, where you pay out of pocket, they want you to have the surgery. And one surgery will probably lead to another surgery and another medication and all the stuff that you will be on forever, rather than living a life that's pain-free, where you get to do your activities, run around living life, and eating healthy food. If I would have believed them, I would have thought that keto would have made my body feel worse, when in fact, it has allowed me to feel amazing. I healed my body and I avoided surgery. That's the power of knowing where you're trying to find, having the correct map so that you get to the right destination. Eating meat, fish, poultry, and eggs, because that's the correct fuel for this body. Wellness Warrior, they use our desire to be part of the group against us. We hate feeling left out, and we hate failing. The promise of a quick fix, right, that allows us to get back to eating garbage as quickly as possible so we can party, so that we can be just like everybody else, and allows us to not feel like a failure for being overweight. But in fact, it's an actual infinity loop, ensuring that we're always buying their garbage and yo-yo dieting. And so at some point, we're going to hate ourselves because we're going to be back to feeling overweight. The reason that you haven't been able to lose weight and keep it off is because you've been driving in a car and following a map created by people who benefit from you being lost and needing to fuel up repeatedly to try to find your destination. It's time to upload the right map to your GPS and fill up with premium every single time, no exceptions. I don't care if I've had a hard day. I don't care if I don't have time. It doesn't matter what excuse, a party's happening, a birthday, it doesn't matter. Eat on plan every day. That is how we do it. So, how do you find the trusted sources that are actually giving you good information? The real difference between the doctors that you're going to find in that trusted sources area and the real experts who aren't just reading from a teleprompter or a script, but are actually living the transformation that they're talking about. These are the keto and carnivore doctors who not only explain how to do keto, how to do carnivore, but who are also at their goal weight, managing their own metabolic health, and openly sharing their own labs and journey. These doctors understand that staying on plan is a continuous effort. No one is perfect, Wellness Warrior. But acknowledging the struggle is very, very different than saying that a keto lifestyle is impossible or unsustainable because it might be hard at the beginning. And I will be the first to scream, when you do it long enough, it gets easier and easier and easier. These doctors are showing you what's truly possible because they've done it themselves. I'm showing you what's possible because I've done it myself. The more that we do it, the more that you see that, as I've said before, this is 7.5 years later, and I can stand up and show you that I'm still at goal weight. For more guidance on how to lose weight, watch this next. And I'm really curious to know what's the most misleading advice you've seen or heard about keto, carnivore. Just share that in the comments below.